when Marcus dumped me over a text message. A text message! After 3 years together, I thought my world had ended. He didn't even have the decency to call. Just 7 words glowing on my screen. I think we should see other people. Then, before I could even respond, I saw the truth. His Instagram story, posted 11 minutes later, showed him at a rooftop bar with Vanessa, my so-called friend from work, her hand draped possessively across his chest. I sat on my kitchen floor for 2 hours that night, alternating between rage and tears. But somewhere around midnight, as the tears dried up, something colder and clearer took their place. I wasn't going to cry over Marcus Bennett. I was going to get even. The first thing I did was resist the urge to send a scathing message. Every fiber of my being wanted to unload 3 years of receipts onto his phone. But I'd read enough about revenge to know that anger given away for free is just a gift to your enemy. Instead, I went silent. Complete radio silence. No likes, no views on his stories, no drunken 2 a.m. texts. Nothing. Silence, I learned, is a weapon. Marcus was the kind of man who needed an audience, who fed on reactions the way a fire feeds on oxygen. By giving him nothing, I was starving him. Within a week, he texted me, "Hey, hope you're doing okay." I stared at it, smiled, and deleted it. 3 days later. "Can we talk?" Delete. He wasn't concerned about me. He was concerned that I wasn't concerned about him. They say the best revenge is living well, and I decided to test that theory with scientific rigor. I threw myself into the gym, not for him, but for me. I took the pottery class 1, to always talked about, but never signed up for, because Marcus thought it was a waste of money. I reconnected with friends he'd slowly, subtly encouraged me to drift away from over the years. 6 weeks in, I barely recognized the woman in the mirror, not because I looked different, though I did, but because I finally looked free. The constant low-grade anxiety I'd felt around Marcus, the walking on eggshells feeling I'd normalized, was gone. I hadn't even realized how much space he'd taken up in my head until he was no longer in it. I started posting again. Not thirst traps, not desperate look how happy I am content, just genuine glimpses of my new life. My lopsided first bowl from pottery class, a hiking trip with old friends, a promotion at work I'd earned by pouring my newfound energy into my career. Here's the thing about people like Marcus and Vanessa. You don't actually have to do much to get revenge. You just have to wait and let them be exactly who they are. The promotion I got, it was for a team lead position. And guess whose performance I was now, indirectly, in a position to review? Vanessa's. I want to be clear. I never once treated her unfairly. In fact, I was scrupulously, almost annoyingly professional. But I also stopped covering for her the way I used to when we were friends. I stopped catching her mistakes before they reached our manager. I simply let her be accountable for her own work. Turns out, Vanessa had been coasting on my quiet help for 2 years. Without it, her performance spoke for itself. She was put on a performance improvement plan by March. Meanwhile, Marcus, who had always been terrible with money, had apparently expected Vanessa to be the same kind of financial safety net I'd been. I'd paid more than my share of rent, covered his temporary unemployment, and floated him loans he never repaid. Vanessa, it turned out, had no such patience. I heard through the office grapevine that they'd started fighting about money within 2 months. The pièce de résistance came at our company's annual gala. Marcus, ever the social climber, had insisted on coming as Vanessa's +1. I arrived alone, in a deep emerald dress I'd bought for myself, feeling more confident than I had in years. Marcus cornered me near the bar. Up close, he looked smaller than I remembered. "You look incredible," he said, that familiar charm oozing out. "I've been thinking about us. Maybe I made a mistake." And there it was, the moment I'd fantasized about for months. The apology, the regret, the opening for me to take him back just to crush him. But standing there, I realized I didn't want any of it. The revenge I'd been chasing had already happened, quietly, in every choice I'd made to build a life that no longer had room for him. I smiled, a real, warm smile. "You didn't make a mistake, Marcus," I said. "Leaving me was the best thing you ever did for me. Thank you." Then I walked away, leaving him standing there, mouth open, as Vanessa stormed over, demanding to know what he'd been talking to me about. I caught the beginning of their argument as I rejoined my colleagues, laughing at something genuinely funny, my glass raised in a toast to nobody in particular. Looking back, my ultimate payback plan wasn't about destroying Marcus. He destroyed himself just fine without my help. The real revenge was becoming a person who no longer wanted revenge at all. Someone too busy living, growing, and thriving to waste another second on the man who texted her goodbye. Marcus and Vanessa broke up 4 months later. I heard he moved back in with his parents. Me? I'm signing up for an advanced pottery class next week. And this time, I'm making something beautiful, entirely for myself.